Hey everybody, so I know that probably there are going to be a few of you who are tired of hearing me talk about this, who, just want to move on, who want to say, hey, the first film has already come and went. There's no way to fix this, we can't fix the past. And I get that, but I kind of wanted to get something off my chest. And I've said this in other videos, but I feel like this needs to be repeated because there's a film coming out in August that includes something that if this critic is not lying, includes something that is so disgusting and so explicit that again kind of just brings up my anger for how the After movie was treated. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, there was a film that came out back in April called After, which is based on the books by Anna Todd. And so basically what happened was right around the time that the film was, announced as being PG-13, one of the producers, Jennifer Gibgot, said that it was because of a test audit, that a U.S. test audience said too much sex. So basically the implication is that they test screened this for U.S. audiences, and they pretty much came in and said, oh, there's too much sex. So she said that the U.S. is getting the PG-13 cut, and everywhere else is getting the more explicit cut. Okay, that's happened. I think that has happened before. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, that has happened. We can be very prudish people. But then I started to think, that doesn't sound right. I know that has happened before, but that doesn't feel right. Something feels off there. Because I started to remember there are several films that I've seen here in the U.S. I live here in the U.S., and I even own these films, that have included sexually explicit content and gotten an R with no problem. I mean, with no problem, with nobody saying, oh, too much sex. And so I've already thrown The Wolf of Wall Street under the bus, but again, that's a film that came out about 6 years ago that I could almost kind of argue, I don't think you could do that film today. Given everything that's happened, with the Me Too, Time's Up movement, with all that stuff that's happened, I don't think that you could make The Wolf of Wall Street today, even if you wanted to. But there is a film coming out in August called Good Boys. And so again, I saw a trailer today. I didn't like it. I'm not laughing at all. I don't think it's funny. I get the joke. I get where the joke is, but it just feels like one-note joke. And basically, I've been thinking about making a video pretty much saying that, hey, you're not going to see a review on this channel. You're not going to see, I'm not going to go see it. I refuse to go see this movie. And what sort of spurred me to make this video, to make one final video talking about the censorship of the After film, there was a quote in one of the critics' reviews that, okay, I'm going to read you pretty much to kind of give you a little bit of a context here. All right, so the paragraph starts off with, this film flat out did not work for me. I have no desire to hear or see children talking about, no, actually, wait a minute, that's not where I wanted to start, I'm sorry. Even more offensive yet, the film attempts to join in the movement and talk about topics like consent and respect for women and their bodies, but in the next line referred to 11-year-old girls as skanks. One of the most distasteful jokes comes when a man walks into the frat house saying, "She dropped the charges!" It is so offensive and flat out wrong that I wanted to walk out just then. Did you ever want to see a kid kiss a sex doll and pull a pube out of his mouth? If you said yes, I wouldn't want you near any children ever. That's pretty much how 90% of the film is. Okay, yeah, the kid kissing the sex doll and pulling a pube out of his mouth. That's where it kind of, pretty much spurned me to say, I really don't want to go see this thing, and I absolutely refuse to go see it, and you're not going to see a review of it on this channel. But then that also got me thinking back to how the After movie was being treated, because I know I kind of went off there on Good Boys for a little bit. But yeah, so anyway, yesterday on Twitter, I am on Twitter, so I decided to tweet at Anna Todd and at the After movie account to try to once and for all get some answers to this, to get some final answers where we can finally put this shit to bed. So anyway, I'm just gonna read you the thread. Hey Anna Todd, After movie, I have a question. once and for all, can you please answer the question about the US versus international version of the film? Did overseas get a different cut? If yes, then why is that? If no, then why did Jennifer Gibgot say they did? Jennifer Gibgot also said we would get an extended cut of the movie, but the announcement of the Blu-ray and DVD release has come and no mention of an extended cut. Again, if yes, then do you have a release date yet? If no, then why did Jennifer Gibgot say we would get one? Many sexually explicit films have come out in the US. Why did this one all of a sudden say too much sex? In my experience as a movie person, I can tell you that the movie was over-censored. So what happened? At Anna Todd, you said that the After We Collided would be rated R per your new contract. That's amazing. That's great. But then I have to ask, is the US gonna get a different cut again? Does that mean that it will be rated R everywhere? Thank you for taking the time to read this thread. Just trying to get some answers. Hashtag after movie, hashtag Anna Todd, hashtag AWC, hashtag after unrated cut, hashtag after series. And so anyway, something else kind of popped up, and like I made another tweet, which was like kind of like the precursor to this video, which was pretty much saying there's nothing funny about a kid kissing a sex doll than pulling a pube out of his mouth. All capitals here. Who thought this movie was a good idea? And yet, After Movie apparently has to go PG-13 in the US because of too much sex. Hashtag Good Boys Movie, hashtag After Movie, hashtag What the Fuck Hollywood. So yeah, that becomes my question now. What happened here? Like, I feel like we need to hold their feet to the fire a little bit more on this. Because if this is true, that internationally they got a different cut of the movie, a more explicit cut of the movie than the US did, then I would have to look at, I would want to know who was in that test audience. Because here's a little insider baseball. Of all the, like, every time that I hear a filmmaker talk about a test screening, they talk about it with disdain. The majority of filmmakers talk about test screenings with disdain. They don't want to do it, but they kind of have to. But only like a handful of them really do say like, oh yeah, no, I learned something. But most people just, look at the test screening process as, go the fuck away. But the one thing that gets test screened, a lot is comedies. I mean, they test screen the fuck out of comedies. And so what I refuse to believe is that Good Boys has been test screened to hell and not one person has said in the little comment cards, have you lost your fucking minds? About, anything in that movie, anything that I've heard about what's in that movie, especially a kid kissing a sex doll then pulling a pube out of his mouth. I'm sorry to scream there, but I feel like that needs to be screamed from the highest building of the top of the tallest tower. A kid kisses a sex doll and pulls a pube out of his mouth. Apparently, that's okay. In a movie, that's okay. We can get that in a movie, but apparently the after movie, apparently, no, that's not okay. Apparently, the after movie is where we finally tap out and say, no, fuck you, too much sex, just stop it. So I'm trying here. I'm trying to be calm. I know that some of y'all are going to be rolling your eyes and laughing at that, but yeah, I'm trying here. But the more that I hear this, which is why I wish that Anna Todd or somebody official would respond to my thread, because I want this answered once and for all. What happened here? Is this true? Did we get a different version? And if we did, then why the fuck did you listen to the test audience? Why? Why? What test audience did you bring in there? Because I hate to break it to you, but some people just like to go into test audiences and troll. That's what I've heard about test screenings. That sometimes that people go into, participate in test screenings to troll. So why did you listen to a test audience? I have a lot of theory. I actually have one big theory about the difference between Good Boys and After. Well, Good Boys features a bunch of guys, technically underage boys, but the After movie has to deal with female sexuality. I'm calling sexism. I don't care if anybody disagrees with that. I'm calling sexism. That After got treated poorly due to sexism. I'm going to finally say, I'm going to keep screaming it. It got treated poorly due to sexism. Sexism, sexism, sexism. There's no better way to say, and I know like some of y'all are going to kill me for those yelling, because again, some of y'all might be watching this when you're not alone. But yeah, sexism, sexism, sexism. That is what I'm seeing. That is what is pissing me off. And that is why I believe that for once and for all, these questions need to be answered. The questions of, let me go back down to the thread so I can get these right. The first question, did the U.S. or did overseas get a different cut? The second question, why is that? If the third, or, first question is, did overseas get a different cut? If it's yes, or question 1A, if yes, then why is that? If no, then why did Jennifer Gibgot say that they did? Question number 2. Are we getting an extended cut? 2A. Did Jennifer, if yes, then when's the release date? If no, then why did Jennifer Gibgot say that we would? Third, why did this one all of a sudden say too much sex? Why did the test audience all of a sudden say too much sex in this one? Fourth question, what happened here? Fifth question, it has to pertain to the R rating of the After We Collided film. Fifth question, is the U.S. going to get a different cut? Sixth question, does that mean that it will be rated R everywhere? These 6 questions need to be answered, because this is really starting to piss me the fuck off. And I'm sorry if some of you, don't agree with me here. I know that like some of y'all or some people have already found these videos have said, no, it has nothing to do with sexism. But again, like these are, people who might watch a video on YouTube, not anybody really official from the film. I want people either who went to a test screening or who are official to answer these questions. I want you, if you went to a test screening of the After movie, I really want to hear from you. If you went to a test screening of Good Boys, I want to hear from you. If you are somebody official connected to the After movie, I don't want to hear any more of this bullshit of we cannot talk about it. Talk about it! So, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for for listening to my irrational yelling. Remember, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, remember to click the subscribe button. The After We Collided read-throughs are almost done. We're about to start After We Fell. So if you want to keep up with the read-throughs, remember that those will be daily uploads barring any types of personal illnesses or issues. Now that we have the official green light for the After We Collided film, I will be bringing you guys constant updates on that. Like I've already said in 2 other videos, sometime next week I will be doing a 50 Shades Freed watch-along commentary based around that, which is sort of like a rehearsal video for another video for another live stream that I'm doing, which is for the After film. But that's sort of, for me to get my sea legs and for you guys to sort of see like, okay, like this is how it could go on the day. And to pretty much like work out any kinks that might come up. Every other day I will be posting different topics that might come up in the After fandom. So if there's a topic that you guys would like to see me talk about, go ahead and, either leave it down in the comments, or you can find me on Twitter or my email. All the relevant information is on the About section. I just want to say I love you guys. Thank you so much for your continued love and support. Just remember, I'll see you later. After Naders. I love y'all.